In today's episode, we're going to be showing you depth handling, so being drawn behind something, and also these pretty tile sets you're actually seeing right here. So we have a path and a grass tile set we will set up and set up auto tiling for. So anyways, let's get into the chunk of this video. Good morning or good night to all you fellow game devs. Today is going to be a quick little lesson for the tutorial. And we're going to be working on tile sets and just overall decoration of the world. So, in the description I have all the art assets I will be using in this. So I'm just going to import this last asset because I forgot to. And this is just a tree asset. And when you import the tree, just make sure the origin point is at the bottom. Because if we were to, let's say, make it destructible and you want to hit it, it needs to rotate based on the base. So, what I have here is I made a new group in my sprites folder called tiles, where I just imported the grass tile set and path tile set, and they will look a little bit goofy, I will say, and it is going to be hard to understand, especially as a new user. So once you have these imported, we're just going to go to tile sets, which is going to be towards the bottom of the list. Hit create tile set. And I just call this TS and then whatever I want to name it. So grass. And I'm going to hit the sprite and select the sprite for the grass tile set. Now, I completely forgot to format these properly. So if you look here, it's a good example though. So when you import this, you see that this tile is not actually being registered as a tile, and that's because in tile sets you cannot use the top left tile. So what I'm going to do here, go to the grass tile set, hit the size button, hit the resize canvas, and then I want to hit this right arrow, and I just want to add 16 to the width. So I'm going to do some quick math here. Let's see, 92. Was that right? Yeah, it is. Okay, 92. And that will resize that. We're going to do the same thing. Oh, the path is actually already done. So the grass tile set was just on me. So there we are. Now we're seeing this properly on here. So what we're going to do here is change none of this because it looks like it is all lining up with each of the tiles. And we're going to hit this button called auto tiling. And then we're going to hit this 47. And what this does is it brings up a auto tile map, which this may look confusing because looking at this and then this, it's a little bit weird. And before we do anything, let's just rename that to grass so we know what we're working with. So the biggest tiles we need to know about, these I would say are the main tiles that will be used, but these are some individual cases here. So this is something that you more have to, once you understand how tile sets work, you will start to understand this. So we're looking at these, we see boxes with little brighter edges or corners. And that's what you have to think. So if it's just a dark gray, that means it's just going to be filled like this piece. So we select that. Next one we have is this top left corner, meaning that there's nothing at the top left corner, which you might think this one, but there's also nothing over here. So it's not that one. And what it actually is this one. So it's a full connected piece, but the top left corner, that little square, is not connected. So we select that one, and then same with this right one. And now this one is top left and top right, but that doesn't mean top middle. So what this one actually is a T kind of intersection where it connects to the top and everywhere around, but not the top right and not the top left. So there. And then the bottom left, like we did before, the bottom right, sorry, we select that one. Now we see this weird piece, which this is very much weird. Very much, oh my gosh, I'm having a stroke. Very much so weird piece. So this is actually over here. I put it off to the side a little more, but this is just diagonal. And then this is going to be another T, but it's going to be sideways. So you just have to make sure you don't select this one, because this doesn't have anything on that side. But this one does, but not these corners. So we're going to select that. Now we need an L piece. All the L pieces are going to be right here for the most part, at least for the ones we need. So this is top left, top right, bottom right. So it's going to be this one. And then we're going to go back to this because it's just bottom left. So do that. Now it's going to be another T like we did before. This is going to be right here. And then diagonal again. We're going to select the corresponding one. And then this is back to the L. The L's again are right over here. And then another T piece, it's going to be this one, because the bottom left and bottom right are not touching. And then we're going to have another L piece, and then this is all, so this is going to be a cross piece. We actually have this right here, the last tile on the set. Now, this is where it gets easier. This is a piece that is not touching the left side, so that is one of these normal pieces. And now we have one that's not touching the left side and not the top right. So what this one is, it's almost like this, except we need that piece. So we're actually going to have these in this square here. And the piece we are looking for is right here. And then the next piece is just going to be the one right above that. Next, we need the intersection, which we talked about before. This is now where we use that. Now, we're going to go to the next part, which is going to be the top. Do that. And then we're going to do top with bottom right. Boom. And top with bottom left. And now top intersection. And it's going to be a T, but the top is not going to be a part of it. So this one here. Next, we're going to go to the right side, not touching. And we're going to just keep going with the same stuff we've been doing, like those. And then this piece here. And now we're going to go to the bottom. Vice versa. It's just going to be the same thing over and over. Just try to find all your pieces and don't rush it. But if you do mess up, you could always modify it later, so don't worry too much about that, but do take your time. So what I did here was this is not touching left, not touching right, so this is this vertical vertical piece, and this is the same thing with the horizontal. Now this is a corner piece, so it's going to be that, and now a corner and not towards the middle. That's going to be this one. And now corner not towards middle. This part's really easy. And then that. Okay. Now we got all the corner pieces. Now this is going to be the top, which is actually going to be this piece since there's nothing touching it around the top edges. And then nothing on the left edges, bottom edges, right edges. And then one just by itself, not touching anything, is going to be this piece right there. And now we have a tile set set up with auto tiling, which does save us a lot of time. So if we go to the room now, this boring looking room that we've worked with for the past 3 episodes, it's now going to look good. So if you go over to the inspector and in our layers tab, there's going to be a button called create new tile layer. We're going to select that and we're just going to rename this to grass, just to keep things organized. Now, when you're hovering over the grass and have it selected, we're going to go to the right side room editor and we're going to hit this button that says no tile set. It's going to drop down this, hit tile sets and TS grass or whatever you named it. Next, there's going to be 3 tabs called tiles, brushes, and libraries. We will use tiles, but the most important is libraries. This is going to bring up the thing we set for auto tiling. So now if you look here with what I'm doing, it's just showing a single piece, but if I were to click, it places that tile. If I place one next to it, it connects it. So it does that with all of this. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to increase our brush size, and it brings up this. And we're just going to drag all around our room. And we're just going to do the entire room, to be honest, just to make it easy and have some color. But now, if we were to run the game, it's we're not really seeing any of the details we were adding with that tile set. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna go to the tiles, and I have a couple different tile variations here for this piece here. So we're gonna change our brush size back to 1, and we're just gonna select one of these, and we're gonna place just a couple of these around here. And you can do this however you want, depending how you want your game to look. This is all up to you. Just general world design, map design, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to take just each piece and just kind of scatter them around the map. You could even add groups of them like that. It makes it a little more realistic, because where there's some, there's more. And then we're just going to do these single ones just around the map. And you could always go in and change these tiles back to whatever you want if you're not liking the way it is looking. Now, for to run the game, it looks like our room has a lot more going on, and it has a little detail, still while maintaining a good style. So that is how tile sets work, but there is one other tile set I included, which is a path tile set. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this grass tile set. We're going to rename it TS Path. And we're going to go into this and change the sprite to be the path. And the next thing we're going to do is go to auto tiling and just rename this to path. Now that we have the first one mapped out, this is in the exact same layout. So now we already have the next tile set mapped. So if we go back to our room editor and we select create new tile layer and rename this path, and make sure path is above grass. Make sure it's not underneath, or else it won't be visible. We're going to take this and select this tile set, and we're going to go to the libraries again, and we're just going to draw paths for however you want this to look. I'm just going to do a basic path, just kind of, I'm not too good at level design, so hopefully you guys have me beat in that aspect. Now, if we were to go ahead and run the game, it looks a lot more lively, like there's a lot more going on here. So we could still plant and everything like we did in the last tutorial. And also with this farming system, we might touch it in the future if there's some more systems we have to incorporate. But for right now, it is as simple and easy as it can be to make this work for our case. And again, we still have this depth issue, so we will be fixing that in this episode as well. So, and then if you remember correctly, I added the tree sprite, so we're going to make a separate object for this. We're going to call oTree. And now, trees normally have collision. So, first let's select our sprite, and then we're going to hit the parent button on that, and we are going to hit collision. And the reason we put the parent as collision is because this will inherit or run the exact same code as the collision, but also be seen as this object. So when the player's collision system sees a tree, it's seeing it as collision, but still uses the collision mask right here, the collision mask of the tree, but doesn't let you walk through it. So we're going to go and just modify this collision mask to just be the base of the tree. And then we are going to go into the tree again, and we're going to type one line of code in the create event. We're just going to type one line depth equals -y. This is going to be the easiest way to do depth in a game automatically. In GameMaker, I should say. So we're just going to copy that and go into the player. We're going to go to the step event, just throw that at the bottom, and we're going to just put a comment here called handle depth. So I'll give you a moment to do that. And next, we're going to go to the plot. Now, the issue with the plot, if we were to put depth equals -y, when we are slightly above it, it will be shown in front of the player because of the origin point is being in the center. So, next thing we have to do with this is actually do depth equals -y plus, and then we're just going to do 16 because that is roughly the sprite size. And this is a quick, easy fix. It's not necessarily something you should always do. Now, if we were to see, with this, we are drawn on top, or shown on top, of the plot of land at all times. But we also still have collision and everything. Can't walk through it. It's perfect. Now, we're going to actually delete these red boxes, and we're going to just drag in a couple trees to make this game look pretty good. And you can either use the grid snap, or you can hold control, and it will remove the grid snapping and just let you freely place. And what I'm doing is just dragging it and then copying it and pasting. This is one way to do it, or you can hold Alt, but this will use the grid snap, so you can do Alt and then click, and this will just place trees kind of about the world. And these trees may look a little bit small. They are from my other game, and I will link the either YouTube or Discord of the guy who made this art for this game. And he's been working on my main project with me. He's been a very big help, and if you guys were looking for art in the future, he does do commission, so he would be willing to make art for your game. But we're gonna run this real quick, but he will be linked in the description. So now we're seeing here, we have the game, and we cannot walk through the trees here. But also, we are drawn behind the tree and then in front of the tree, depending on our player location. So that is how we handle depth. Now, that is pretty much all I have for you in this tutorial. It's just getting to know tile sets, and you are always free to use your own once you start to get the hang of, mapping out the auto tiling, because honestly, that is a pain for even people like me. Once you get this figured out, you can pretty much find a bunch of tile sets online on itch.io, or you could even attempt making them if you look up this GameMaker auto tile template. And you could even try making them, adding them, or you could just use the ones I provided. And I will be probably providing more tile sets in the future to make the game look better. But this is just a general understanding of tile sets and what we need to get into the next chunk of the game. But this is a small little episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed. But if you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments. And again, all art is posted in the Google Drive linked in the description. Anyways, you guys have a good one. I'll see you next episode.